Hey guys, it's Mr. Roberts here with a little science for you. I'm gonna walk you through this week's assignments and let's go. So, let's start off with this. We've got four friends arguing about the natural resources and their impact on the environment. So, which of these friends do you agree with most? Do you agree with Kate? It's better to use natural resources because they don't harm our environment like human-made resources. Do you agree with Clint? It's better to use human-made resources because they don't harm our environment like natural resources. Do you believe with Abby? It doesn't matter, both natural and human-made resources can harm the environment. Or do you agree with Troy? Neither human-made nor natural resources are harmful. They are both good for the environment. Pick one, and then explain why you agree, and then go ahead and submit that. So in this video, feel free to pause it as you answer the questions. Let's encounter the phenomenon. So, how does cutting down trees impact Earth systems? Oh, I wonder. Let's find out. Oh, ooh, a video. Very sad. All those trees gone. Hmm. You've probably seen a tree lying on the forest floor that fell from natural causes. Trees are also cut down for human purposes. It may seem obvious that cutting down trees affects the forest and other organisms that live there, but did you know that each of Earth's systems is impacted when forests are removed? John Muir, an early naturalist for whom Your Woods is named, once stated, "Tug on anything at all, and you'll find it connected to everything else in the universe." With your okay, by yourself, brainstorm how activities like cutting down forests impact each of Earth's systems and how we could mitigate these effects. And then we'll move on. So, why do we cut down trees? Many experts are concerned about the loss of forest cover worldwide. The removal of large areas of forests for human purposes is called deforestation. Why do humans cut down trees? So in 1630, at the beginning of the European settlement, about 425 million hectares of the United States were forested. By 2017, the area of forested land had declined to 300 million hectares. What's the percentage decrease of forested land between 1630 and 2017? Give me your answer right here. Now, in 1630, the population of the US was only 4,500 people. In 2017, the population was around 326.5 million. What percentage increase does this represent? And can you see any sort of relationship between the removal of forests and human population growth? So, as you've discovered, increases in the size of the human population cause increases in the consumption of natural resources. Trees are cut down for fuel, paper products, and wood products. People also clear forests for urban development. Urbanization, the development of towns and cities on previously natural areas, is the most human dominated and fastest growing type of land use worldwide. Agriculture. Our exploding population growth on the planet and the amount of land available for producing food for that population are not keeping pace with each other. Forest clearing for agriculture helps answer the question of how the world's growing human population can be fed. Brazil's Cerrado represents one of the world's last opportunities to open a large area of new, highly productive cropland. The Cerrado, 2 million hectares of grassland and tropical forest, is the site of the world's fastest growing soybean production. Rapid growth of soy production in Brazil has both positive and negative side effects. On one hand, more food is now available to feed the world. On the other hand, the rapid expansion of agriculture worldwide at the expanse of forests has environmental effects on Earth systems. Let's investigate this. Now, nearly half of the world's tropical deforestation occurs in the arc of deforestation between the Cerrado and Amazon rainforests. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so here we've got a map showing us the Cerrado and the arc of deforestation. So the continent's highest rate of forest clearing is in the arc of deforestation. Why do you think these forests are cleared? Predict how this might affect the geosphere. Biologically, the Cerrado is the richest savanna in the world with at least 130,000 plant and animal species. The Amazon rainforest is estimated to host some 10% of the planet's species. What do you think the effect that agricultural expansion might have on the plant and animal species that live there? Now, do you think the cleared land stores more or less moisture than forested land? And why? Do you think deforestation might impact the hydrosphere? And then, how do you think a reduction in trees might impact the atmosphere? Record your thoughts. How does deforestation impact Earth systems? So, the consumption of natural resources, like trees and land, has environmental effects of global importance. Forest clearing for croplands and pasture diminishes habitat. Habitat loss is often the greatest extinction threat for the biosphere. Clearing forests can also affect the geosphere and hydrosphere. Plant roots hold soil in place. Without these natural anchors, soil erodes away. Drought can also follow deforestation. Cleared land dries rapidly and stores little moisture. And finally, deforestation also impacts the atmosphere. Trees remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere during photosynthesis. Rates of photosynthesis decrease when large areas of trees are cut down and more carbon dioxide remains in the atmosphere. Now, what can we do about this? Can Earth sustain our current lifestyle? Will there be adequate natural resources for future generations? These questions are among the most important in environmental science today. We depend on nature for food, water, energy, oxygen, and other systems that support life. For resource use to be sustainable, we cannot consume them faster than nature can replenish them. Degrading ecological systems ultimately threatens everyone's well being. Therefore, scientists, governments, and concerned citizens around the world are working to identify environmental problems, educate the public about them, and help find solutions. Technologies such as the drone here, which can be used to monitor conservation, can help monitor and minimize human impact on the environment. Can you research two technologies used to reduce the effects of human populations on Earth systems? Describe how those engineered systems work in this space provided. What can be done? Well, threats to supplies of food, energy, water, and nature certainly require technologies and actions on national and international levels. However, in each of these cases, ethically responsible action can also begin with the individual. You. Now, the concept of an ecological footprint has been developed to help individuals measure their environmental impact on the Earth. Your ecological footprint is defined as the area of Earth's productive land and water required to supply the resources that an individual demands, as well as to absorb the waste that an individual produces. You can calculate your own footprint by answering a simple questionnaire about consumption habits such as electricity use, shopping, and driving habits. Okay, we are going to use a quiz. Let me pull it up. We're going to use footprintcalculator.org. Let's see what my footprint is. Okay, so I'm going to take the first step. Oh, it says I have to log in. Don't worry, put in your school email address. It doesn't ask you to make an account. So let's see, how often do I eat animal-based products? Now, if I want to, I can add details. So I can choose, let's see, beef or lamb. I eat beef like once or twice a week. I eat pork once or twice a week. I eat poultry once or twice a week. Fish, once every few weeks. And eggs, cheese, and every day. Yeah, okay. And so then I'm going to click the arrow and go to the next. And to get through this real quick, I'm just going to take their assumptions. When you do this, go through and either use the slider or add details. Okay. Oh my goodness. If everyone lived like me, we would need 2.7 Earths. Wow. What? So how many planet Earths was it going to take to support your lifestyle? Can you brainstorm some actions you could take to minimize your ecological footprint? Now, the anthropologist Margaret Mead stated, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, concerned citizens can change the world." Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. What do you think Mead was trying to draw attention to, and could that be related to conservation? So, what can we do? Well, technological change sometimes can reduce our footprint. For instance, world food production has increased about fourfold since 1950, mainly through advances in irrigation, fertilizer usage, and higher yielding crop varieties, rather than through increased croplands. Similarly, switching to renewed energy sources such as wind and solar power can greatly reduce our ecological footprint. In Germany, which has invested heavily in wind, solar, small scale hydropower, and public transportation, the ecological footprint is only 4.6 global hectares per person. In comparison, the average resident of the United States lives at a consumption level that requires 7.2 global hectares of biologically productive land. Okay, read about the fishy management. It's a pretty interesting article about how we have worked to make sure that the abalone are still around. You don't need to do the it's your turn. And then you've got your lesson review. So, can you describe your understanding of how changes in human population have a causal role in changing Earth systems? Okay, list some of the relationships and then draw or write complete sentences to describe what's going on. Then we've got a little three-dimensional thinking. Biologists report that habitat destruction, overexploitation, and pollution are eliminating species at a rate comparable to the great extinction that marked the end of the age of dinosaurs. The UN Environmental Program reports that over the past century, more than 800 species have disappeared, and at least 10,000 species are now considered threatened. Wow! This includes about half of all primates and about 10% of all plant species. At least half of the forests existing before the introduction of agriculture have been cleared, and much of the diverse old growth on which many species depend for habitat is rapidly being cut and replaced by ecologically impoverished forest plantations. Okay, what statement is a logical conclusion that you can draw from this? Is it that clean technology has helped eliminate pollution and protect endangered species? That natural resources are limited and the biosphere has limited capacity to provide our food and water? That consuming forest resources interferes with the survival of other species? Or That old growth forests supply food, energy, and other resources humans depend on. Number three, only a small percentage of Americans own cars before the 1940s. By 2017, there were nearly 250 million vehicles for 323 million people, greatly increasing the need for roadways. In 1960, the United States had about 16,000 kilometers of interstate highways. Today, we have about 77,000 kilometers of paved roadways. What percentage increase does this represent? 381%, 792%, 38%, or 79%? Now, think of the impact on land, water, and of the atmosphere of an activity you perform daily that requires the consumption of natural resources, such as bathing or washing a dog. How could you minimize these effects? Okay, do you still agree with the answer you chose at the science probe? Hey, what do you guys think about this online web style video thingy? Let me know. Send me an email. Miss you guys.